From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and Akashvani, this is Stumped.
Hello, I'm Alison Mitchell and welcome to Stumped. Jim Maxwell and I have been at Lord's this week for the World Test Championship final, which unfortunately means we can't bring you the whole programme here on YouTube. But what it does mean is that we can bring you an interview I did with the South African captain Temba Bavuma in the lead up to that final getting underway. Now, while the Proteas achieved world number one in the Test rankings back in 2012, if they were to beat the defending champions Australia in this showpiece final, well, that would arguably be the country's most significant cricketing achievement. I chatted to Bavuma and he told me just what reaching this World Test Championship final means to South Africa.
Yeah, I think it's massive, not just for the players, for the country. I think obviously as a sport loving country, cricket mad country, we're always looking for something to smile at. And, we have an opportunity of doing that as a team. Also, we have another opportunity to kind of, keep throwing our name in the hat in terms of one of the leading cricketing nations out in the country. We're not blessed with the opportunity of playing a lot of games. So whenever we do get the opportunity, we want to be putting our best foot forward, and we want to make it attractive for the other bigger teams to play against us. So I think us being in the final will go a long way in doing that. But obviously us also going over the line, push us to be seen as one of the top cricketing nations in the world.
Can I take you back to talk about your personal journey? Because from the boy from Langer Township who has now become the captain of your country, do you feel an even greater sense that, whenever you walk out now, you represent more than your country when you lead the team out as captain?
Yeah, look, that's something that I've really had to embrace as a guy who made it onto the international scene. I learned quite quickly that it wasn't just about me having a passion for the game and working hard enough to get to where I am. It meant a lot more than that. I think I've confessed several times that it was quite a difficult prospect to kind of embrace or accept the baggage, the pressure, but probably the expectation that it came with it, the criticism as well that came from it. But I think probably in my older years, I've kind of found it mentally a lot more easier for me to deal with. So as much as I acknowledge the responsibility, the expectation, it is not as burdensome as it was when I first started playing international cricket.
Tell me a bit about the relationship you have with your coach, Shukri Conrad, because he came in, made you captain. You've scored these 300s that's helped the team qualify for the World Test Championship final. But what is your relationship? What makes it so special, so tight?
Yeah, we've gotten quite well. Probably the most important relationship I think in a team has to be the captain and coach. Those two individuals have to see eye to eye. They have to be on the same page in every way. I think Shukri, he came in at a time where the test team, we weren't in a great space. And he took a view on me as a player. When he told me that I'd be the captain, my first question to him was why? Because I think in the past, I kind of just accepted it because I felt it was this honor and privilege that you just had to accept when you're given. And when, he unequivocally said that I think you're the best player in the team, and you're the best person to lead it, that gave me a lot of confidence, and comfort to kind of, fully step into those shoes and do the role that he's given me, the responsibility to do. And look, I think in a lot of ways it's become a father figure. For a lot of us within our team, it's become a space where we can speak to things that truly affect us internally, and I think that's really helped a lot of us within the Red Bull space to play our best cricket. So yeah, that relationship has been a good one. I think I'm always wary to overplay the relationship. The coach, now he's the three format coach. He could turn tomorrow and say, Temba, I don't want you as my white book captain. So I'm always wary of that. But yeah, I enjoy my time with Shukri, and hopefully we can achieve a lot together.
Yeah, I interviewed him earlier in the year for the BBC Stumped podcast, and he said the biggest thing he believed between you is trust, and that you also have robust conversations about cricket and about life. To what degree does even, sort of conversations outside of cricket help to give you perspective?
I mean, there's a guy I think who can resonate with a lot of the struggles and experiences that I faced as a cricketer. If you look at his journey as a cricketer, decisions that he's made that a lot of people would not have liked, but he stood by that. I mean, I think I remember one of our first conversations when he came in as, he hates this word, as the head caretaker coach. It was a one-day series in South Africa against England, I think around 2021, 2022. And one of the conversations we had there, he just asked kind of very direct questions, more pertaining to the actual person, how the person was, how I was, apart from the cricketer. And you really just helped me get to a space where I could just enjoy the game of cricket. And that was quite a tough period within my career, at a time where never really felt that you could speak to anyone in and around the system. And he kind of came out of nowhere. We never had much of a relationship before then, and I think yeah, a lot of that trust through the vulnerability, I guess, that I showed that he allowed me to, was built from that. And I think yeah, we just kind of built on that. I mean, we never knew really that we'd be working together as coach and captain. Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you about Shukri Conrad, I gather, went to visit the Springboks coach, Rassie Erasmus, in the lead up. What did he
We saw,
glean from,
yeah,
from that visit?
we saw that. We've been pulling his leg and asking who called who for the visit. But I think yeah, I think for him, I guess it's always nice to kind of pick the brain of someone else who I guess has the same responsibility in a different sporting code, to see what similarities there are, and I guess to how you can learn. I think he was there with the medical team as well. And I think especially with the way that cricket is going now, where there's so much cricket and you're playing T20 cricket, you're playing Test cricket, you're playing one day cricket. Outside of that, guys are playing in the leagues. It puts a lot of pressure on the guys' bodies, and it's putting a lot more onus on guys being physically fit. And I guess us as a team, we're trying to think how we can best deal with it, deal with the whole changing dynamic. So yeah, I think there were great insights from there. Also from the Springboks, I think why we love the Springboks so much, why we respect them so much, is their ability to, in pressure moments, always come out on top. And I mean that's something that we'd love to obviously feed off as a team, seeing where we are now. Yeah, and hopefully all of that can kind of rub onto us.
And what about you then, Temba? Because you're 35 years old. You said back in February that you're looking for that happy ending to your career. Could a win in the World Test Championship be that happy ending, or is there still a lot more you want to keep striving for?
Yeah, I think it can be part of it. Look, I'm happy with where my body is at. And I think as long as my form is still there, I'd still like to keep playing as long as I can. So yeah, hopefully it can be a part of the story. Even for this team, we're on a journey as a test team, and I always kind of say to the guys, I'd like us to kind of look back after 3, 4 years, look at everything that we've done, and only at that point do we start judging what we've done as a team. But from a personal point of view, it will definitely be a highlight in my career. The fact that just being there within the final at Lords against Australia, it doesn't feel like it gets better than that.
And do you need to be playing more Test cricket as a nation,
Yes,
finally?
please. Yes, please. We'd love that. But I think we know the responsibilities of as the players, that we've got to keep playing good cricket. And that's the only way that will make it attractive for all the other bigger nations to want to play against us. I think this season is a big season for us. Playing against Pakistan and India away. Then next year we've got Australia and India. I think those give us proper opportunities to stake our claim as one of the top nations in the world. So, but yes, we'd love to be playing more Test cricket.
So that was South Africa's Test captain, Temba Bavuma. And that was all we've got time for on this week's Stump. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Until then, bye for now.